nicely timed. I've got an important question for you today, and not everyone is comfortable with discussing this topic. See these? Well, I have an odorous problem with these socks here. I like the colour, I like the fit, I like the way they come in a pair. I just don't like the way they pong. Oh, they really do pong, don't they? They have come from some very smelly feet. Whose feet? I was afraid you were going to ask that. They come from my feet. My feet smell, and that's my problem. You've got to help me. How can I stop my feet from smelling?
I stop my feet from stinking with my feet cream. I just take off my shoes. I think people should wash their feet.
Have a shower every day, but I don't want to do that.
Don't wear shoes.
I can stop my feet from being smelly by washing them.
If I have smelly feet, I'll clean them.
Don't wear socks all the time. My dad has smelly feet.
I think changing your socks would be a good idea.
By washing them with soap.
Oh, hang on. Feet don't smell. No way. Feet walk, they run, they jump, and they can even boogie. But they do not smell. It's your nose that smells, and my nose can definitely smell these socks that have come off my pongy feet. Mind you, it's not the first time I've had smelly feet, and I know I'm not the only person in the world with smelly feet either. In fact, every human being has their own smell. Some are just more pungent than others. And if we didn't have eyes and only had super sensitive noses, then we could use our sense of smell to recognise each other. We could sniff each other out. But all this talking is not helping me in my 10 minutes of need. How do I stop my feet from smelling? Maybe there's something on my feet causing them to smell like this. They do feel hot and sticky. And look at the grime between my toes. Ooh, yuck. No, don't. There's nothing obvious on my feet that would cause them to pong so powerfully. And there's nothing obvious on my socks either. So it must be something minute, minuscule, and really, really small. You know, I think it might be time for another investigation. I hope I can find what's ever on my feet making this smell. Otherwise I'll have to become a giraffe. You know why a giraffe has a long neck, don't you? Because of the smell of its feet. Right, well, on to the investigation at hand, or at foot. I'm about to conduct an experiment similar to those that have been conducted throughout the world since 1864, when the petri dish was invented. This is a petri dish here, and it was invented by Julius Petri to hold agar. I better write that down. Agar. Agar is a gelatin-type substance made from seaweed. Right. Now, I told you how my feet were all hot and sweaty and sticky. Well, if I take a sample of that moisture, a swab, then wipe the swab on the agar, if there are any greeblies growing on my feet, we'll be able to see them in a day or two. They'll start growing on that agar. Well, this is where the telly-magic kicks in. I'll see you in 2 days. Well, before we look at the results, let me explain. Something has grown on the agar. There was some kind of greebly on my feet. Look! Gross! This was the swab that was wiped onto the agar from my sticky, smelly feet. Blah. If I opened the lid, the smell would be putrid because it's concentrated smelly feet. I'm not going to open the lid. The smell would be too strong, but it's also pretty toxic. It could be pretty harmful, so I'll leave the lid on. So, do you know what it is that's growing on my feet? It's bacteria. So, what is bacteria? Well, there are millions of different types of bacteria, but a basic one looks a bit like this. And bacteria grow by dividing. Starts with one cell that divides into two, which divide 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 into two. I think you get the idea. Bacteria are so small, you can't see them with the human eye. You need a microscope, and they live everywhere. On the floor, on the bench, in the air around you, and on your body in places like your nose, your mouth, your hands, your bottom. And every place around your house has a different level of bacteria. Some places have more bacteria than others. Imagine the toilet! Bacteria are a part of life. We need certain bacteria to survive. In fact, our intestines have a certain type of bacteria to help keep our intestines clean and to help us digest our food. And most of the bacteria around or on our body is pretty harmless. But some bacteria we'd be better off getting rid of. I've got some bacteria here. I took a swab, a sample from a dirty tooth, and wiped it across this agar. After a couple of days, look what's grown. Bacteria. I took a swab from some clean teeth, wiped it across this agar, and a little bit of bacteria has grown, but not much. Not as much as on this agar. Oh, and have a look at this petri dish. This is a sample taken from a dirty hand. I wiped the swab across the agar and look how much bacteria there is. Oh, this is a sample from a clean hand. Hardly any bacteria at all. So I can conclude from my observations that if I keep my body clean and dry, I won't have much in the way of bacteria or smell. It's as simple as that, really, and this is your basic bacteria survival kit. If I brush my teeth regularly, I remove the bacteria that destroys my teeth. If I wash my hands regularly, I reduce the risk of swallowing bacteria that may make me feel sick. And if I keep my body clean and dry, I reduce the chance of bacteria wastes. A real easy tip to remember too is to wash these well after using this. This place has a huge number of bacteria, all waiting for a free ride to food. So wash your hands well with soap. And as for your feet, you don't want them to smell? Well, wash those bacteria away. You can write to me at Tree Hut Productions, P.O. Box 34307, Birkenhead in Auckland. See you next time. Ka kite. Just don't like the way they pong. Oh, they really do pong, don't they? Smelly feet. Oh. Anyone got any clues of what's happening next? No? Hey, Mum and Dad, thanks for paying your broadcasting fee.